Okay, so hope that last video helped you kind of get a start on these three words as we get more and more of this vocabulary figured out. I thought that video was fun and interesting way to get started on these. And these three that are in this next group, I think this is our third group, these are easy. They all are very similar, so they're easy to confuse. They're very, very closely related. And so they're just easy to confuse one with the other. So chromosomes, genes, DNA, I think the easiest way to think about them first is if remember earlier in the year, we talked about how cells organize into tissues, tissues organize into organs, organize into organ systems organize into organisms. We kind of go that way where we say is made of, or that's the other way rather, kind of makes into, or the other way, organisms are made of organ systems, are made of organs, are made of tissues, are made of cells. Chromosomes, genes, and DNA kind of work like that, where they're kind of levels of the different thing. Each thing is made of the prior levels. So sometimes diagrams really help before you get any flashcards. So this is sort of the big to small version, if you want to think of that. Inside each of your cells, there are chromosomes. To be specific, depending on what number you want to use, there's either 23 or 46. If you'll notice, one chromosome in this diagram is actually two pieces. You see that? And the way those work is one piece of each is from each parent. So one would come from biological father, one would come from biological mother. There are 46 of these. That's where I put 46 in each nucleus of each cell in your body, or there are 23 pairs of chromosomes. There's 23 pairs, 46 total. They're all organized into pairs like this. You always see them kind of in this X shape with two. So you're in the nucleus of your cells, you have 23 pairs or 46 total chromosomes. The chromosomes are made of your DNA. Which you're probably familiar with. You've probably seen this shape before like that. Your DNA is the code for all your genetic material, or your genetic, traits and all that. And then a piece of DNA, like this little part of DNA that has to do with one particular thing, would be called a gene, G-E-N-E. So all of your DNA looks like this. One little piece is your gene. So like the gene for your eye color, the gene for your height, the gene for your whatever. Pick any trait, and that's a gene. So that's if you think big to small. I actually sometimes think it's easier to think about them from small to big, because we talk a lot about your genes. Genes are specific, right? As I said before, the gene for your height, the gene for your hair color, the gene for your eye color. The gene, and it's not even all things that vary, like I said in class, the gene for how many arms you have, the genes for having bones. They're all specific genes, and you have tons and tons and tons of this stuff, actually 6 feet worth in every cell, which is pretty crazy, in your body. So genes are very specific. All of your genes together make your DNA. And your DNA is organized into chromosomes. So I actually sometimes think it's easier to do that. So all your DNA is organized into these 23 chromosomes, 23 chromosome pairs. So if you could see inside your cell, you'd see 23 of these. All of them together have all of your DNA. So genes are smaller than DNA. DNA is smaller than chromosomes. This is the way I like to think about it. A little better. So that's how it's just how your genetic material is organized, these three words. So let's write them down. So I'm going to go small to big because I feel like for me that's better, but it may be easier for you to understand than big to small. So take out an index card or a faux index card if that's what you're making. And let's do one for gene. A gene is a small section of DNA. And I'm going to, that's how it's the smallest kind of one. Small section of your DNA, I'm starting small to big, that codes for a specific trait or behavior. So for instance, a cat has a fur color gene, a number of legs gene, and a breathing gene, and many more. So a gene is a small section of your DNA that codes for one specific trait or behavior. Go ahead and pause and make that index flashcard now. Next level up from that is DNA. DNA is all of an organism's genes combined. If you want to even make another sentence, probably it is the total of all your genetic information. All your genes together code onto your DNA. So genes are small, DNA is bigger. Go ahead and pause and make that flashcard now. And then all your DNA is organized in a certain way onto chromosomes. And that's what I have here. The way DNA is organized is called your chromosomes. In humans, it's on 23 X-shaped designs. Where half is from each parent. So I'll even put here, it's like 46 pairs. And if you want to draw them, they tend to look like this. So you've got 46 of these, 23 of these in the nucleus. So chromosomes are the way your DNA is organized. You have 23 sets of chromosomes, or halves from each parent. So that's gene, DNA, and chromosome. Go ahead and pause here and make this card. So one set to go. There's the last words on the list to go before, just like this one. Before I talk about them, I want to show you a video that's more interesting than me and more lively than mine to get you a head start on some of the words that we're going to put in the last part of the list. So if you will, find your little next and back buttons on eClass here. Head to the next video. After that, punch that button again, and you'll be back to my last one, and you'll be there.